Hey, what's up, YouTubers? This is John Rambo. I call this video 2 deers in 2 days with a Parker X bow, or a crossbow. So me and my buddy went hunting yesterday evening up at my place. He's got a stand about 200 yards from my stand, and I think it was just about 5:30 or something, or maybe between 5:30 and 6. I barely got up into my stand. I seen a couple deers sneaking through woods, and the tree stand I was in is actually built out of pallets. It's about 20, I'd say 20 feet in the air, and I got I use wood pallets around the sides to to help with a wind and cover my movement and everything. And this year I have put a roof on top of it, so I can sit there if it's a light rain or even snow, sit there fairly comfortable. And I'm going around it with burlap. So yesterday, this doe, a mature doe, she jumped the fence, and I already had my crossbow laying on the pallet side, on the side of the blind. And I'll just show you the Parker X bow now. I don't know if you've ever seen it or not. This is a Magnum. It's one of the older ones. It's got Teflon slide. But anyway, so I had it leaned up, and I was actually holding the burlap up on my blind so I could aim. And as soon as she jumped the fence, I got it was about 35 yard shot or something. And so I fired the shot, and it hit her. I knew it hit her. I thought it was a little bit far back, and so I got out of the tree stand and started tracking and found blood. And I tracked her about 50 yards down in the woods and found her dead. So it was actually a pretty good hit. I got the lungs. So that was deer 1. And this morning, me and my buddy went back in another place that I hunt, and he started off up in a tree stand that I had put up. So I was going to go kind of stalk, walk the woods a little bit. Wasn't really expecting. It's kind of hard to kill deers from the ground with a bow or crossbow, but when it is a heavy dew on, so the leaves are a little bit wet, and a little, as long as you walk real easy, you can kind of sneak around. So I started off in the field, didn't see nothing. I started walking up in the woods, walked a big circle, and I was, like I say, I was walking real easy, and I was walked up on this one hill, and I looked over to my left, and I seen the back end of a deer standing. It was about probably 70 yards up a hill from me or so. I used a rangefinder on the tree, and it was like 68 yards. I knew she's too far, or it was actually a big bodied spot, and I knew it was too far to shoot at. So I kept waiting and waiting. I didn't have nothing to call it, but I actually was laid down on the ground. I tried to crawl closer. He was just kind of grazing, looking for acorns, I guess. So I was trying to crawl up to a log, and all of a sudden he quit eating and started walking toward me, and he got within. There was some small pines, like bull pines, in front of me, and he was walking toward them, and then he cuts out to my left, and I had 2 windows of opportunity to shoot, and I aimed for the first window, and he just walked through. He didn't stop. So then I aimed toward the second window, and if he'd have made it through the second window, I never would have seen him again, because he'd been in bull pines. So as soon as he walks into the second window, I fired a shot. I thought I seen it run off of my arrow in him, but I'm not for certain. And I seen him run, and so my buddy seen him run too, because my buddy was coming up there close to where I was. And anyway, so we started tracking this deer, and this deer run a pretty big circle, and I bet we probably tracked blood for 300 to 400 yards probably, and it was bleeding pretty good, and I knew the deer was going to die, and so we kept tracking the blood, and sure enough, we found it in a thicket where deers probably go to bed, and found it dead in the thicket. So 2 deers in 2 days with a Parker crossbow. Y'all remember? I'm out.